after Santa had visited 20 houses, he had eaten 8 cookies. So at this rate, how many cookies would he have eaten after visiting 55 houses? So we're going to set this up as a proportion, and we'll say we'll compare cookies to houses. So this is our comparison, and we can set up an equivalent proportion. We don't know how many cookies, that's what we're looking for, and we're going to be 55 houses. So we're looking for a multiplier. To find a multiplier, we divide. So I can divide 20 divided by 55 or 55 divided by 20. We always want to try to get a nice number. So 20 divided by 55 is an awkward number. Going the other way around is better. I'm going to use this vertical multiplier. 8 divided by 20, that's going to give us 0.4. So that 0.4 represents our vertical multiplier. And this happens to be, when we divide these two terms, we end up with our unit rate. So we end up with 0.4 cookies per house. So it's a unit rate per one house. And we can use that multiplier to work out the number of cookies that 55 houses works out to be. So we do 55 times 0.4, and that gives us X is 22 cookies. So he would have eaten 22 cookies after visiting 55 houses. So this is one way to do it. I'm going to introduce to you another way of doing these problems called unit analysis. And it's really a multiplying strategy to do this. So here I have my proportion, and this proportion I'm going to use as a rate. And starting with 55 houses, and I'm going to keep track of the units, so I have 55 houses, I'm going to multiply by my rate. And to use this rate, I want to make sure that I end up with cookies. Well, to get rid of houses and end up with cookies, I need to get rid of the houses by making sure that I divide by houses. So if I have 55 houses divided by 20 houses, those houses cancel. That means that the 8 cookies end up on top. And if I look at the units left over, houses cancels, I'm left with cookies, my answer is going to be in terms of cookies. So at this point, this is just a fraction multiplication, so I times on top, so 55 times 8 divided by 20 is going to give us the 22 cookies that I was looking for. And this strategy is called unit analysis, and this is one that we want to eventually get to. We always want to go back to this proportional equation if we're not sure, but if we get comfortable with this and understand this, we can start switching towards this strategy of unit analysis, or it's also called, in some places they call it dimensional analysis, where we keep track of the units and allows us to use a multiplication strategy to allow us to cancel out units. And this strategy is very useful when we start getting into science later on in high school, because this is a strategy that's going to be most effective when we do unit analysis in science.